we weren't absolutely convinced that you did this to these young ladies. Give me an explanation.
I have no explanation to give you for something I didn't do.
So you're just saying you just got a run of bad luck?
When you were a child, you feared monsters. They were always hiding just beyond the darkness, waiting to get you when we least expected it. The monster would be under the bed, waiting till you fell asleep to grab your leg. Hiding behind the closet door, ready to pounce when the lights went out. As you get older, the ideas of monsters change. The monsters become looming bills, debt, or the boss you hate at work. True monsters don't exist. This can be untrue, though. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight. They can be your neighbor, your friend, your boss. Those same people may appear nice one moment, but once they are alone, could be complete monsters. This is an example of one such case. For decades, his crimes went unnoticed, his victims forgotten. Authorities dismissed his horrendous acts as accidents, overdoses, or disappearances. But in 2018, a man would confess to what would become the deadliest string of murders in American history. His name was Samuel Little. Born in 1940, Samuel Little spent much of his early life drifting, getting arrested for minor offenses, bouncing between cities, and refining his ability to disappear. By the 1970s, he had turned to more violent crimes. And yet, time and time again, he slipped through the cracks of the justice system. In 1970, Samuel Little started stalking and killing the vulnerable, women on the fringes of society, prostitutes, drug addicts, and runaways. Those the world had already forgotten. He strangled them with his bare hands, watching their last breath leave their mouth. He stared into frightened and lifeless eyes. Their last moments were brutal affairs. By the time their bodies were found, police rarely suspected foul play. And so, his spree continued for 35 years. Despite being arrested more than 50 times, he was never convicted of murder. Time and time again, he was released on technicalities. It all changed in 2012. DNA evidence linked him to 3 unsolved murders. Faced with a life sentence, Samuel Little began to talk. The world would soon find out the true extent of his horrors. Little confessed to 93 murders, providing intricate details, dates, and locations that even the FBI couldn't ignore. His photographic memory allowed him to sketch his victims with eerie precision, giving closure to families who had long lost hope. To this day, authorities have confirmed at least 60 of his victims, making him the most prolific serial killer in American history. Samuel Little died in 2020 at the age of 80, taking the secrets of many of his victims with him. Some names may never be known, some cases may never be solved. Families who lost their loved ones may never receive the closure they so desperately pray for. Unfortunately, his story is a grim reminder of the justice system's failures and the lives stolen by one man who simply went unnoticed for too long. How many more victims remain nameless? How many other killers walk free today? The reality of the situation is that the victims' families are reliant on a murderer to provide information about the victim. In many cases, the murderer never provides information about the why or how. They carry it to their graves. I will leave you with this. The worst horrors are left to the imagination. For those who may never know what happened to their loved ones, what they can imagine happened is probably much worse. Do you think the justice system failed these victims? What other serial killers kept secrets until their death? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe and like for more content like this. And stay tuned for a bonus clip.
A black male dressed up as a female. Okay. How tall is she?
Marianne about 5'7", 5'6". She weighed about 135, maybe 140.
And how old do you think she was?
But she was 19.
Okay. And where was she from?
No, Miami, down in Liberty City.
Okay. And did she, you'd mentioned before she had a boyfriend, or she talked about a boyfriend?
Named Wes.
Wes. And tell me about where you met her at.
I seen her down at the Guar on 17th Avenue. And she had on a short cream miniskirt. Cream and red. So then this opportunity popped up. Take her to the store.
Right.
Instead of me bringing her back to the apartment, I went down 27th Street. That's going down to Fort Lauderdale, called the gate of the Alligator Alley. It turns into, it runs into Alligator Alley.
Right.
But the further out you get, the further you get out of Miami,
Right.
you got vegetation.
Now, how far outside of Miami did you were?
About, it wasn't too far out of Miami, right there. I was in my stepdad's car, Pontiac Le Mans.
And where'd you take her to?
Continue down 27. Got back on 27.
Going outside of Miami.
Miami.
Going away from Miami.
Going away from Miami. We got down past the let's say limits. So I continued on toward Fort Lauderdale, and I seen a road going off the main road